Start trading in college if you want to land a job as a trader. So what we hope to accomplish today together is help you answer the question, is trading right for you? Help you to give you some ideas about how you land a job as a trader. We'll talk about the attributes of a successful trader. We'll introduce successful SME traders that we've trained from scratch to consistently profitable and their stories, which I know you will find interesting. We'll answer any of your questions, shoot them into the chat if you have any, and we'll introduce the SMBU daily trading video, which is something that goes to your inbox every day. We'll tell you how to sign up for that. Now, this webinar is generally intended for college traders. My understanding is that some people from the community have latched on to the idea that we're having a webinar and have jumped in here. If that is you, that's okay. Then this webinar will just be about how do you land a job as a trader. It is specifically intended for college traders. One of the things that we do at SMB is we reach out to lots of investment groups, lots of colleges, because we want to introduce trading to them. We want people to start trading earlier so that people understand what it's like to be professional traders, so people start building skills while they're in college so they can hit the ground running when they land a job, so they can get a job, so they have actually something to talk about when they go on an interview, and they can present demonstrable skills to help them land that job. And we'll talk at great length about that. And I'm sure there's just some people there, perhaps they're in college, that want to get a job. I mean, I get emails all the time about people who want jobs and ask me how to do it. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So we're a proprietary trading desk in New York City. Our firm is SME Capital. We have 3 different divisions of SME Capital. We have SMBU, which is our education arm. We have SME Systems, and we have SME Capital, which is our proprietary trading desk. This is a snapshot of a proprietary trading desk in New York City. We trade options, equities, futures, automated trading strategies. A proprietary trading desk means, well, it means to me, our proprietary trading desk, we back all of the traders. The firm puts up all of the capital for the traders, all of it. The firm takes all of the losses for the traders, all of the losses. So if somebody were to walk in the door and lose $100,000, that loss would be on us and not the trader. We trade as discretionary short-term traders, meaning we sit at our desks and we press keyboards and make trade decisions manually. We also trade different products. So we trade equities and we trade options, and some of our guys trade futures. And we also build automated strategies. So we like to say some of the guys are discretionary and they're quant. We're always looking for people who have really good ideas on the automated trading side. If you've built a model that back tests very well and forward tests very well, and you need some capital, happy to talk to you about that. So SMBU is our education arm. It's a spin-off from SMB Capital. We started our firm as a proprietary trading desk. To become good, we specialized in training traders from scratch to consistently profitable. And to do that, we had to build the training program. After we had built that training program, my partner, Steve Spencer, said to me, hey, why don't we spin this off into a separate company and teach people outside of the firm how to trade? And so that's what SMBU is. It teaches people how to trade stocks and options and futures, FX, and in automated trading. And what's actually happened from that is we expanded SMBU from equities into options. We built out options training, and we now have a very, very solid options trading desk. So Seth Freudberg runs our options spread trading division, and they're doing very, very well. in their trading, and it's added a very nice new P&L line for the firm. And the genesis of that was actually Seth came to train with SMB in-house for 5 weeks with our equities, and said, look, I love your focus on trading. I love the way that you guys attack markets. I totally get it. I totally get your culture. I totally understand about trying to get better every day. I totally understand about the importance of training and not just education. I totally understand about how to go from okay to great, the way that you guys attack that. And SMB Options Tribe is a really neat thing. And so SMBU also has built an SMBU college training program, and that's to help you land your job in finance or as a trader, or to give you a better chance to get a job in finance. Just the other day, one of my good friends of our family, called us up and said, my daughter applied for a job at a tier 1 firm, and she interviewed. Can you help her out? Can you check to see how she did at that firm? And we had a friend, our family had a friend at this other firm, and we did some digging, and this person was incredibly bright. The daughter was really, really bright, but she didn't really have a background in finance. She didn't really know what to say in the interview, and we checked in, and she had been given a hard no. So there was really very little we could do. But part of the goal of creating the college training program is to help people to, during that interview, have something substantive to say, have that background where they can actually talk intelligently and genuinely about markets. And also it's for people that want to be traders. So lots of people ask me, how do I know if I want to be a trader? How do I know if I want to be in finance? And perhaps the best story that I've heard, I'm now 44 years old, in my life, the best advice I've heard about this was given by Daniel Pink at a lecture that I went to with one of my guys, one of our traders, at the 92nd Street Y in New York City. The 92nd Street Y in New York City is this incredible facility where the brightest intellectual people in the city go and talk about things that they're most interested in. So people in politics and art, and finance, and music. There's a lecture series that you can go to and buy tickets for and get real close to lots of very, very interesting people that you would never be able to get close to. And so Daniel Pink wrote a wonderful book called Drive, which is about trying to understand what motivates people at work. During this discussion, he talked about his journey to becoming an author. And, I know when I was young, my dad told me to find something that I really loved and to go ahead and do it and not necessarily worry about the financial reward of it that would follow. And I think a lot of parents tell their kids that. Just find what you love and go ahead and do that. And I think that Dan takes a different spin on this, a spin that I actually hadn't heard before, and puts it in the right context. He crystallizes, I think, the exact way that you want to look at this. And he talks about his personal experience. And that was, he was in law school at Yale. And he was at the bottom of his class, though very bright, and now one of the most successful authors in the U.S. today. And he was writing a whole bunch of really small articles for magazines, getting paid very little, but loving what he was doing. And in law school, at the most prestigious law school in the country, at Yale, and having gone to law school myself, that's really the top of the top in the U.S., he realized that he didn't want to be a lawyer, and he realized what he really wanted to do. But the spin that he puts on this idea that's different is not necessarily to do what you love, because you might think you love something, but you might be wrong. It's to do what you do. He was writing. He was writing in law school. He was writing at the #1 law school in the country. He'd worked his whole life to get this position. And he was writing these articles for nothing, for little magazines. And so, in our world, a good way to tell if you really love trading is to trade and to see if you go back to it. And I can tell you that one of the least convincing reasons that students give to me about why to hire them, this is the worst answer you can give, and it's the most uniform answer that I hear, is I read the Wall Street Journal and I really like to watch CNBC. This is the #1 answer, and every time I hear this, I immediately cross that person off the list, because that doesn't tell me that they're really trading. That doesn't tell me they really love trading. That tells me that they've learned an answer that everybody else gives. Burn the boats. So look, some of you are sitting there and you're saying, come on, Mike, I can't trade in college. It costs money to trade in college. I don't have enough money for an account. I don't have enough money for 6 screens and a high-powered computer. I don't have the time to do it. I don't have an area that's quiet enough for me to be able to do it. My broadband's not fast enough for me to be able to trade well. I can't do it. And my response to that, and this is inspired by a college student that I met at Rutgers years ago, who lodged this idea in my head that I think is the ultimate answer. It's the ultimate retort to those thoughts, and it's burn the boats. And it's burn the boats. There are no excuses. If you want to land a job as a trader and you want to put yourself in the best position to get that job, start trading. And forget about the excuses. And I wrote about this in the playbook, and I'm going to read a passage from it, because I think it's a story that's quite motivational. And this is a story that Andy Andrews, a motivational speaker, tells. In my book I wrote, Andy Andrews, motivational speaker, tells the story of Hernando Cortez, who in 1519 sailed from Cuba to the Yucatan Peninsula to take the world's richest and most elusive treasure. For over 600 years, no conqueror had been able to capture the treasure, but Cortez was set to change that. Knowing that several had tried before and failed, Cortez changed his approach with gathering soldiers. Instead of just signing them up, he told them about the treasure in detail, explaining how wealthy they would be, and described how well off their families could be for generations to come. Cortez knew that he would have to build a most powerful commitment from his soldiers. When the crew of more than 600 landed, they all gathered around Cortez to hear one final speech on how they would take the treasure. The chargers expected a strategy session of go here and do that. Cortez changed everything with only 3 words: burn the boats. The soldiers thought Cortez had gone crazy. How would they get home? But Cortez knew that when the only 2 options were to die or take the treasure, the soldiers' sole commitment would be to capture that treasure and ride home on the enemy's ships. The soldiers fought well, and they took the treasure. They had to. Burn the boats. So for those of you looking for a wonderful book that absolutely relates to trading, that I'm sure not a lot of people talk about, it's Flow. The book is written by a former University of Chicago professor. I'm not going to pronounce his last name because I can't, honestly. But it is a very helpful book. And this professor who studies, who used to run Department of Psychology in Chicago, the University of Chicago, talks about how another way to learn what you really want to do is to think about this state of flow. So I've written 2 books, and it's a lot of hard work, and I think that most people probably couldn't do it, not because they're not capable of doing it, because the amount of work that goes into it. And lots of Saturday mornings I wake up before my son gets up and before my wife gets up, and I sit down to write. And I notice that oftentimes I can write for an hour and completely lose track of time. And that is that state of flow. You get completely lost in what you're doing. And a way to tell if you really love trading is to trade and see if you can enter the state of flow. So for those of us who are trading Gene today, long and short, were you sitting there trading that, hoping for lunch to come? Or did you sit down and start trading and then, oh my God, all of a sudden it's 11 o'clock? Now, which one is it? Are you trading from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, noticing it's 3:05, 3:10, 3:15? Or did you start trading the closing hour and, oh my God, all of a sudden it's 3:50? If it's the latter, then trading puts you in a state of flow. And we do best when we find what we love that meshes with our talents, that we get trained well in, and we gain experience in. That's a recipe for doing well. But to be a really great trader, be really great in finance, you have to really love it. It's a very competitive game, and that's how you should feel. You should be in that state of flow if this is something you really want to do. And look, you can take this into anything. Lots of you guys are young, trying to figure out what you want to do. Are you in that state of flow when you're doing something? Or do you just sort of think that this is something you really want to do? I meet a lot of people who think they want to be traders. But if you're not in that state of flow, you really don't. So how do I get hired as a trader? I already got hired. How do you get hired as a trader? So how do you guys think you get hired as a trader? Let's do a little poll here. How do you guys think you would get hired as a trader?
Having a track record.
Okay. So, having a track record. So I want you to think about something, and this is one of the reasons why we drafted the college training program. I want you to think about something. I want you to imagine yourself in an interview with a trading firm or with a financial firm. I want you to imagine yourself in that room, and I want you to think about what it's going to look like. What are you going to be able to say? What are you going to be able to show? How do you want that interview to go? Are you going to be able to are you going to be that person who comes in for an interview at a trading firm, and when the managing partner asks you, or the hiring partner asks you, what demonstrates your love, your passion for trading? Are you going to be that person who says, I watch CNBC every day and I read the Wall Street Journal every day? Or are you going to be that person who can say, I've traded for the last year and a half, here are my results, here are the trading setups that I like the best, here's the product that I like the best, here's the work I'm doing on some automated ideas, some automated trading ideas. Here's how I'm learning to express some of my equity trades with options. Here's what I'm looking at in the futures markets. Who are you going to be? And so I created this test and wrote about it in the playbook. I call it the GM test. And I take liberties to be a little bit humorous about this, but I've been that person on the other side of the desk and heard some of the answers, and I don't want you to be that person. I want you to have a really good answer. I want you to put yourself in the best position to get that job. And think about it from my perspective. Who do I want to spend a year every day teaching, coaching, to move from nothing to consistently profitable? Who do I want to spend my time with? My time is valuable. I can't bring in people that can't make money. That wouldn't be very good for me. And so who do I want to risk firm capital on, risk my time, risk my resources? Who do I want to put in the room with my other successful traders? Think about it from my perspective. I want to put people in the room who are closer to being consistently profitable, who are as close to being consistently profitable as possible. Yeah, we'll take the person who's really, really smart every once in a while. But what's best for my firm and what's puts you in the best position is being specific. And so, I wrote about this in the book, which is, if I were the GM of the New York Knicks and you came into the room and said, I really want to be drafted in the first round. I think I should be drafted in the first round because I've been playing a bunch of pickup basketball. I've cut back on my light beer intake. I broke up with this crazy significant other. I've been taking some Myoplex, been lifting the weights a little bit more. And I really think I like this game called basketball. Draft me in the first round. If I did, what would you think of me? You would think I was soon to be fired. Well, it's the same thing for managing partner at a trading firm. We're only as good as the talent that comes in the door. And the coaches are only as good as their players. You know that, right? And you can be a great coach if you don't have great players, you're not going to succeed. And so, one of the things that we're trying to do is get you to start trading earlier and come and apply at firms like ours so that our time is better spent and our production is better, and also you do better when you start. So I trained a trader many years ago who I thought was going to be a mentor. I nicknamed him Butcher. And my first book was on good trade. And I remember the interview with him, and I remember how persuasive he was, and ever since that interview, I will never hire somebody like this again. We were sitting in the interview, and I asked him for him to demonstrate why he would be good as a trader. I asked him to demonstrate his history of success, and he said, when I first came to college, I was playing basketball, and my coach told me that I would be cut before my sophomore year. And I worked on my game, and I got better, and I pushed myself, and by the end of my senior year, I became all conference in college. I said, wow, that's pretty convincing. This guy's a hard worker. And wow, if he's a hard worker at basketball, he must be a hard worker at trading. And we know that if you don't work hard, you're not going to be good as a trader. He comes to trade at our firm, and he's the last one in, the first one out. Senior traders give him constructive feedback, which he doesn't listen to. He leaves the desk and looking at the ESPN NBA homepage. And very soon thereafter, we ask him to leave. And it wasn't that the butcher wasn't a hard worker, it was that he wasn't a hard worker at trading because it wasn't something that he enjoyed doing. There's a great quote from Oprah, which summarizes the lesson of butcher. There's a lesson in almost everything that you do, and getting the lesson is how you move forward. It's how you enrich your spirit. It wasn't that the butcher wasn't hardworking, it was that this wasn't something he wanted to do. So one of the things that frustrates me as a managing partner at a trading firm is the idea that people think trading is easy. And I can tell you that every day I say to our traders, trading's not easy. And you can look at my own trading as I walk through it at 11 o'clock during one of our meetings, and I am very open about the fact that trading is very hard. Particularly had a particularly really good day today, and then I came in very, very long as Gene, and you know it went from 450 to 7, but every day is not that easy, and every day is not that profitable. And I think Gene went from 450 to 760. So I mean that was a solid day. But every day is not that easy. But the problem is that there's this anomaly out there, which is access to trading is very easy, and people conflate the fact that access to trading is easy with trading being easy. That's not accurate. And the analogy I use for this anomaly is, I wanted to play for the New York Yankees when I was young. I would love to walk on the mound and pitch for the New York Yankees. I can't. I could, but if I did, they would arrest me. But you know, to play for the Yankees, I have to be a professional. I have to be one of the best that's proven. But that's not true of trading. Ameritrade, and this isn't a put down on Ameritrade, Ameritrade will take your money. If you have a couple $1,000s, you can give it to them, they will give you a platform, and they will let you trade. You can walk onto Yankee Stadium, you can walk onto the parallel of walking onto Yankee Stadium as a trader and pitch for the New York Yankees by opening up your Ameritrade account and playing, by placing trades. But that doesn't mean it's easy. And in fact, it's very, very hard. And there's a lot of training that goes into it. And after you're trained well, there's a lot of tweaking and reviewing and adapting. You will learn your edge that works one year, doesn't another year. It is a process that never ends. It's a lot of fun. It's very challenging, but it's not easy. So our message to you is to work on your trading game in college. Start trading in college. Or if you're out of college and you're trying to get a job, you got to start trading. You got to start training. There's a difference between education and training. Just like there's a difference between mentoring and coaching. People just don't understand this. SMBU, our first name was SME Training. That's actually, if you go to the URL, it's smetraining.com. We say SMBU.com because it's quicker, but it's really SMB Training. And we use that word very specifically. We came up with that name very specifically because it's not education, it's training. We're training you how to be a good trader. Yes, reading books is important and you can learn from that, but then you also have to train. And we recognize that there's this huge educational gap at universities. And look, we have a college student sitting in here listening right now, and actually I know that you've been to a couple lectures at PACE that we did. And so you could probably give this lecture right now. But I think in colleges there's just not a whole lot of education about trader training. Some people have, at some colleges they talk about reading spreadsheets, reading the books of certain financial companies, or maybe investing. But there's not really very many places where they train people how to trade, or they teach people how to trade. It's more academic, and it's more hypothetical. And so we built this training program because we understood there was a gap for people that wanted to learn how to trade. They wanted to build skills in trading. They wanted to build a track record. They wanted to learn how to build a playbook of trades that worked for them. And that there were people that wanted to visualize themselves in that interview. I mean, this is who you want to be if you want to be a trader. You want to be in that room with the managing partner. And you want to hand them your track record. And you want to throw it on the desk. And you want to say, there is 18 months of results of consistently profitable trading. Hire me. In fact, what you want to do is you want to drop that on a bunch of different desks of managing partners. If you can do that, by the way, please send me your resume, because we will hire you. You want to put that, and then search out the best environment for you. Now you're in the driver's seat. But that's where you want to be. If this is your dream job and you really want to trade, there are things you can do right now to put yourself in a position to recognize that. So one of the ways we think we can help is we built this college training program, and we can get started. So again, if anyone is out there, and you have a track record of making money, you have an automated system that you can show makes money, there's my email address. We want to meet you. So if you're not, that's okay too. Then you got to start getting trained and get to the point where you want us to hire you. Unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation out there about trading. And so I term this the financial media entertainment complex. And I remember being in Singapore and thinking of this term right before I was getting ready to go on stage, and I used it. And I think a lot of people liked it, and so I used it. And so that's my partner, Steve Spencer, on the financial media entertainment complex. Hey, look, if you can't make fun of the financial media entertainment complex and also go on it, what's the point? So that's a picture of my partner, Steve Spencer, who went on Bloomberg. We love Bloomberg, by the way. That's actually a really great financial station. And if our traders didn't complain about not having CNBC on, we would just have Bloomberg on all the time. It's soothing, they have good information, it's smart. So Steve went on to talk about Facebook, and he's been on a bunch of times. I think that's about Facebook. Yeah, looks like they have Facebook in there. And so the problem with the financial media entertainment complex is that those of you who want to get into trading, you get the wrong idea of what it's really like to be a really good trader. And that's mostly you have to make these bold, grand predictions about where stocks and markets are going. And they romanticize and idolize people who are making these grand calls and coming on, who are uber confident, who have great hair and wonderful tailored suits, perfect teeth, nice smiles. And they just say, Facebook's going to 86. And there's no consequences for these people who come on about whether they're right or wrong. There's no consequences of that. No one actually checks to see if they were right. Nobody checks in to see if anybody lost money on that call. Traders are wrong all the time. If you sit in on our mentoring meetings, I will tell you that I'm wrong all the time. I will show you how often I am wrong, and I will show you that lots of our guys are wrong all the time and consistently make money. It's not about calls. It's not about thesis. It's not about bias. It's not about being right. It's not about prediction. It's not about the junk that they spew in the financial media entertainment complex. It's about you building trading skills and managing your risk reward. It's about finding opportunity in that gene today for good risk-reward trades. It's about finding really good risk-reward trades in Tesla today, not whether Tesla is going to go down or up. It's about finding really good risk-reward trades in BLDP, not whether it's going to go up or down. It's about finding really good risk-reward trades in Apple and the beginning of the week, not about whether it's going to go up or down. We're traders. We're not predictors. And quite frankly, there aren't that good at actually predicting. And so that's what we're doing. I'm just trying to make a trade where my downside is 1 and my upside is 5 and my win rate is 40 to 50%. If I can do that, I'm going to make money. So I want to introduce some traders who we've trained from scratch to consistently profitable, in some cases, high-performing traders. I actually think in all these cases, these guys are high-performing traders. So we make the distinction between consistently profitable and high-performing trader based on P&L. And so Shark's a high-performing trader, and at a firm you get a shirt if you're a high-performing trader. And there's different levels based on how much money. So if you make $250, you get one color shirt. If you make $500, you get another color shirt. If you make $1 million, you get another color shirt. And so Shark's a high-performing trader. And the lesson that you want to learn from him is, I remember when we trained him, and I remember reading his application. And I don't think there's ever been a person who I've ever trained, in fact, there hasn't been, who has a better mindset than Shark. He's not somebody who went to the best college in the world. He's not somebody who was a fantastic college athlete. He's not somebody who grew up with friends at Goldman Sachs. He's a regular person from a really good family in upstate New York who went to a good but not great college, who sat down at his seat years ago and worked every day to get better. And every day, to this day, even though he's now a high-performing trader, he embraces the challenge to get better every day. So 2 years ago, he learned a new strategy on the close orders. And that's added an extra $20,000, $30,000 of P&L to him per year. Not a huge chunk of money, but that's pretty good. And he's learned how to trade IPOs and add that to his P&L. And he's learned how to fade low-float stocks like the Genes of the world. And he's learned how to express certain longer-term trades with options. He certainly learns how to scalp the momentum trade and trade the stocks in play. But he's now starting to automate. He has a couple of automated strategies that he's running that he learned very, very recently how to do. And so every month, every day, he's adding to his arsenal as a trader. And instead of coming in and thinking about how much P&L he made, he's thinking about and judging his day based on, did he get better? Did he make progress with his automated trading strategies? Did he make a little bit of progress getting a little bit bigger in his best setups? Did he push himself outside his comfort zone to get a little bit bigger than he had in the past? Is he reading, is he making progress getting through a new trading book that will give him a new idea? Is he doing a good job with his reviews after the close? That's what he's thinking about. He's not thinking about, hey, I made $7,500 today. And he's done that every year. And just imagine that. Imagine going into a job for 5 years and doing all the things that matter to get better every day. Think about how good you'll be after that period of time. That's what's required to be a high-performing trader. So Pippin from the Playbook, my second book, he is by far the most polite trader that I've ever worked with. You can't help but root for him. He is a scalper, which is much harder since HFTs. He's an amazing scalper, and I'll tell you a story about him, which makes me crack up to this day. So we have a third-party trading platform that we used for a very small part of our trading. And that third-party platform called us up and said, you guys are entering orders in too quickly. You need to slow down. And I was like, wow, we're not automated. These are not automated orders. These orders are being put in manually. And, so we talked about it, and we're like, all right, well, we want to use this platform. We're making money off this third-party platform. On our proprietary platform, we can't execute these trades, so let's play ball. So we had a conversation with Pippin, and we said, look, you got to slow down a little bit. You got to keep your orders in. If you put an order in, keep it in for a count of 10, and just keep it in longer. And he's like, all right, I got it. He was a little befuddled by the fact. It wasn't HFT trading. It was manually putting in orders. And so, sure enough, 2 days later, we get another call from the firm. Why is so-and-so not listening to our directive to slow down? We told him to slow down. He's still firing orders in too quickly. I bring Pippin back in the room. I'm like, what happened? Like, I thought we decided to slow down. He said, I did slow down. He is so fast as a trader that him slowing down his manual trading was too fast for a tier 1 market making firm to handle his order flow. That's how fast he is. And look, the takeaway from Pippin, the lesson you want to learn from him, besides being really polite, is being able to process information quickly is a skill that you want to bring to this game. It is a talent that you want to have to be really good at this game. And so there was a great book written by a professor at Princeton called Thinking Fast and Slow. The professor's name is Daniel Kahneman. And he wrote that there are 2 different skills of thinking. There's deep, in-depth, slow thinking, and there's really fast thinking. You can make a decision really quickly. And being a good short-term trader requires really good thinking. You can't think really quickly, and you need to be that person who thinks in-depthly and analytically. This is probably not the game for you. You've got to be able to think quickly. That's why lawyers aren't the best traders. That's why analysts aren't the best traders. Traders just play. They just play. See information, make a decision. So TO teaches us another very important lesson about trading, which is you really need to have a passion for trading. I remember the Skype interview I did with him. He was trading in college. He wasn't particularly any good, but he was profitable before he came here. He was making a little bit of money, but he was making some money. And he loves trading. And the whisper is that he owns a substantial amount of Bitcoin. He loves trading so much, he actually trades Bitcoin after hours as well. My lasting image of him is it's 8 p.m. and I'm getting ready to leave the office, and I look out on the floor and I see him working on his game. If this is something you want to become good at, there's a lot of review that goes into your work. There's number crunching. There's thinking. That's how you're going to get better. And then finally, let's introduce the worst discretionary best quant trader that we're really proud of on our desk. So one of our traders was a really, really poor discretionary trader. And, you know, it got to the point where he needed to probably stop as a discretionary trader. And normally when you have these conversations with people, you got to go have a conversation with the floor manager in, you got to talk about, hey, you got to do something differently. Normally people fight back. Well, he recognized he was underperforming so badly, he was relieved that we were sort of telling him we're going to have to go in a different direction. And one of the great things about trading today is you don't have to be a great discretionary trader to be a great trader. You can be a great quant trader. You can learn to be a discretionary trader and be awful at it. But since you've learned to trade, you can pivot and mine data to build automated strategies or be a quant trader. And there's two ways you can do that. You can build filters to give you signals to trade discretionary, or you can just build automated strategies outright. And we say you win the game before it's played. If you're a quant trader, you're winning the game before it's traded. You back-tested, front-tested, forward-tested, live, verified that your strategies work. For those of you most interested in trading, go to smbu.com. On the front page, you'll see this banner. It says SMB free daily trading video, and you can sign up to get a daily video each day to your inbox, where we're talking about equity trading, options, automated trading. There's a trading tip of the week. There's a trade of the week. There's a video from Spencer, there's two from myself, there's one from Seth, and there's one from the person who handles our systems trading outfit. A really wonderful way, if you're trying to get better at your game, to get a little bit better. HD videos, most of them are, I think almost all of them are HD videos that our media director puts together. And lots of people really find them to be very, very helpful. We get a lot of wonderful feedback from them. And they're free. So let's talk about the SMBU solution. Let's talk about the SMBU solution, the college training program. So look, there's this problem. Colleges are not offering trader training. We are offering an opportunity for you to get trained. We're solving that problem. Our college training program trains you in equities and in options and in automated trading. So you're not just learning equities, you're not just learning short-term trading, you're learning how to trade. You're learning how to trade different products. We want you to be prepared for that interview. Imagine yourself sitting across from a managing partner at a trading firm. This is your dream job. Which candidate are you going to be? Are you going to be able to say, I've been trained as a trader previously. I do have trades that I can talk about that I've made intelligently. You are able to have a resume that stands out from other traders because you can show that you've been trained, that you've traded, that you stand out amongst other candidates. You can go through our training program and in doing so develop demonstrable skills in finance and in trading, which you'll have and you can talk about. Again, think about that person sitting across from you. Think about that interview. Think about how you want that interview to go. Think about having a college training program on your resume. Think about the skills that you will have developed because you went through it. Think about the conversation, the substance of the conversation, the level that you'll be able to talk about, the trades you'll be able to talk about, the sectors you'll be able to talk about, the products you'll be able to talk about, the discretionary, the automated trading that you'll be able to talk about. that other people are just not going to be able to discuss. They're just not going to be able to do it. And I think sometimes people who are very confident think they're just going to go into a job interview and charm their way to a job. I'll just tell you that we recognize very charming people. And we're not going to hire people because you're charming. We will acknowledge that you're very charming, but we're not going to hire you because you're very charming. We're going to hire you because you have skills, because you're closer to being a consistently profitable trader, which makes you closer to being a high-performing trader than other people. That's all we're looking at. We want to use our resources intelligently. You want to be in the room closest to being consistently profitable than anybody else. The other thing is, and this is a very, very important concept for you, which is some people think that they love trading, but when they start doing it, remember the butcher? When they start doing it, they recognize they don't. They really don't want to do the work. They're not in the state of flow when they're trading. And instead of wasting 2 years of your life learning that trading isn't your passion and starting down the wrong career after you graduate college, figure out, get experience about whether or not you really love trading. Our training program offers an experience in New York City, and I write with great affection and love for the city of New York, and particularly the city of New York when you're young. It's a 5-week program. It's in Manhattan. You get to come to our offices every day and train as a trader. If you have any questions about this program overall, you can talk to Chris, who is running our college training program. And finally, we love to talk about success stories here. There was an individual who took our college training program last summer, and at the end of it, he pulled me inside and said, "Can I interview for the firm?" And I said, "Absolutely. Go show me your runs. Send them over to HR. We'll take a look." Today, he sits on our desk. His first month was wildly successful. He made over $10,000 in his first month of trading live. These stories, like Raph, if you put in the work beforehand, if you put yourself in a situation to succeed, you can. There are people like Raph who are doing it. Trading is really what you want to do. You want to follow his footsteps. You want to be like him. Anyone has any questions, you can always reach out to me at my email address there or on Twitter.